Hello, hi, it is me. It is I, Small Town Didi, Yurachadi, on these favorite internet and Akastrach. I am back. Hello, yalla. We said the men don't need these microphones. Take these microphones away from the men. And it was like, it looks like they're going to do a great job getting the microphones taken away all by themselves. If you give them enough rope, sure enough, they will hang themselves. Open chats, that's what we're on about today. If I find a clip where they are talking the shit that they're talking, it's going to go here. But basically, they've gone viral. It's usually two boys, and I don't know if or two guys rather, and I'll tell you why that's happening to me. I'll tell you why, because people keep calling them that, and that's my real gripe. And I don't know if they have different people coming in to co-host with them, but it's two familiar faces that I see all the time, and I didn't bother to learn their names for this video. Every time I see one of their clips, I'm not intrigued, nothing. Like, I'm not entertained even. It's like, here's the thing about me. I can pick up the entertainment value for another group of people. Be like, oh, that's not my shit, but I see why it's doing great. I don't know what space they're occupying. Like, what group of people they speak into. I think maybe I'm just getting older. I feel like Piano Pulse is occupying a very specific spot of like a young crowd, even though they have that older guy there. It's like I can make out to the audience. I just can't do it with these ones. Anyway, they went viral, or they viral right now for explicitly accusing colored people. Like, dude, not even like colored people from that particular township. No, bruh. Colored people of incest. Yeah, they sleep with their siblings. Did they say siblings or cousins? Doesn't matter. I think they said siblings, you guys. If I find the clip, it would have gone here before.
Tell each other, Chief.
Siblings.
You don't know.
No, but I believe that because colors are crazy. Colors are crazy.
Crazy in what way?
They tell each other those are shit.
I explained this little part. You know me, right? Like, if you go and watch my Tyler video where I'm talking about coming through to defend Tyler's coloredness, and even when I do my, I had a little, I wouldn't even say it was a video on the elections. I just had a little bit of something on my mind to say around that. Because of how we've been racialized in this country and how our democracy is so young, so fragile, and kept alive by, rugby or something. I don't know, babe. And just having been in certain spaces, worked in particular spaces, having experienced people from different walks of life, I don't very much care to play the game of the Rainbow Nation for optics. I don't care about that shit. Now, did what was said on it was disgusting to me. Like, my jaw dropped. I was like, how was this allowed to get out to the broader public? It's one thing that you are thinking you're making a joke, because like jokes are funny, and that's not even like a kiki, but it's one thing for you to say it, but it's another thing for it to get to the public. Do you understand? Like, where are the checks and balances? Where are the people who are supposed to be in the right spaces to keep? And it's not to say people are not gonna put their foot in the mouth because there are checks and balances and plates, but like, it's not gonna be a fuck up of this magnitude because this is a recording. This is not live, but because I don't like, it's wrong. I just want us to establish that I'm disgusted, and that's not the type of shit we should go around saying about like any group of people. That said, I knew if I let the story breathe, I knew that if I let this breathe for 3 minutes, a type of colored person was gonna start showing their ass on social media, and sure enough. And that's why you'll never find me at colored people's aid or coming through to defend anything that for me is a plight for colored people. I don't care. I care about right and wrong, and they were wrong. But I don't feel that I'm in community with them, like, because they very much, and maybe I'm using like a blanket statement, or I'm doing whatever, and I feel like in recent times there's been a little bit of a voice to push back, and to not just push back, but to also not gaslight the experiences of Black people when it comes to colored people. But I feel like it's new, like that voice of saying, yes, there's so much anti-Blackness in our community. We do it to each other, and there's a way that we think about Black people. Like, we've taken on these beliefs because we think it makes us better than them. That voice is there. Like, it's starting to get a little bit louder, but I don't feel that it is how they feel as a racialized group, like the broader group. I still feel like they like the way that the white man decided the structure of things should be and who's better than who. And so when things happen and it's like, this thing is happening to, I literally feel like, oh, it's happening to colored people over there. And that's not on me. Like, I'm never gonna wear that. I'm not gonna wear that, and I'm not going to talk around it as well and act like, I was gonna move right along. I was gonna text my friend and be like, yo, like, these young men are nasty. Like, why are we talking like this about, and then I was gonna move on along. I was not, there are plenty of things I see on TikTok that a lot of you are probably just like, and then I decide that I want to come talk about it because I'm thinking about it that much, or it is, but in this instance, because I know this kind of colored person exists, or these kinds of colored people exist that espouse these views that say I'm lesser than them, I don't understand why I would take my lesser than tongue and use it to defend their honor. Like, I don't understand. Why would I do that? And it's cute for us to want to play like Rainbow Nation and we're all one people, we're all this and we're all that. I don't feel it. Like, I don't want to pretend with anybody. I have my own problems. If you go watch the Tyler shit, if you watch anything else, you will understand that I am not about to play these games with you guys. Truly, I am not. Should there be consequences? Damn straight. I understand that DSTV has pulled away. First of all, for me, it's like, yeah, this conversation is happening. The two things that stuck out to me is the lack of responsibility that we've put on DSTV. Everybody's just like, yeah, DSTV needs to blah, blah, blah. Okay, DSTV has taken them off the air and like severed ties or whatever. And people are like, yeah, that's what you get. I'm so sorry, DSTV. If you are going, and this is the thing about, I'm sitting right here, right now, right? Garage door at the back. I'm playing with the flowers and little bud faces and you understand that? And then I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to talk to my people. Let me talk to my people real quick, right? And I start doing some numbers. Because let's be fucking honest. Multi-choice, DSTV, whomever, they are fighting for my life. You know, that R. Kelly type of fighting for my life. With the way the streaming services have come like and chowed so much. Guys, when was the last time you really sat and watched something in real time on DSTV? And so what's happened now is that I start my little podcast just like this. It gets popping. If it's a podcast, y'all start to like it. DSTV now wants my very young audience, right? And I'm not young, but I've looked at my numbers, right? I'm not as young as these guys, is what I'm saying. But it seems like these like young people build up their platforms. They make these platforms into something. We can see, we've been seeing for a while with open chats. People have been saying, they say some problematic stuff. And it's not to say that people need to be saying palatable and agreeable things all the time. What then is the point of that? Nobody's saying that, but there's a fine line between freedom of speech, which is what listen, as a Black person, you can take the stance that what was said is that deep. You guys keep saying it's not that deep, it's actually rubbish. It is that deep. saying it's not that deep and you don't see what the problem is versus, yeah, it's that deep, there's a problem, it's just not my fight because I haven't seen these people come to bat for me. So in other words, I actually do need colored people to audition. I do, because you can say that without trying to diminish the seriousness of what was said here. That's just how I feel. We're back to DSTV now. These young people make like they think the production value is what it is. DSTV now wants their young audience, and they just take that thing as is. They plug it onto their platform, right? And as is. They don't add to the production value, meaning there's no researchers there. There is no fact checker in place. There's nobody trying to make this thing somewhat professional. And that is the pitfall, I think, of the great equalizer that is, great equalizer. That is the internet. And that in as much as we are able to like birth these careers and I'm able to sit here and just like shoot my shit and say whatever, and it could possibly turn into like a livelihood of sorts for me. In as much as we've done that, and I said to you guys when Reason attacked Tahi on him on the basis of where's the journalistic integrity, I was like, we are yappers. We're professional shit talkers. I am a Miss Wendy, prodigy. I don't have time for this shit. That said, if you are going to take your established brand, a multi-choice brand, DSTV, and stick your like seal of approval essentially on these podcasts, whether or not you're explicitly saying it, you stamping on that thing, you know what you're doing. You're giving this thing legs and you're giving this thing validity. We now have certain expectations of it. How the fuck does DSTV get to wash its hands off of this and just go, oh, we advertise, we don't want to deal with people who, what did you do beforehand? What was done beforehand? What money was spent to make sure that the audience is getting a product that the Broadcasting Complaints Commission or whomever or whichever bodies would be like, you wouldn't have to ever deal with them. Like with any other production that you would put on air. What was going on there? Is this the first podcast that they've had to sever ties with because the podcast proved to be the water got too hot? Ever Shalaba this broadcasting deal, were they already saying problematic things about women already? Yeah, but misogyny is like accepted. That's something we can roll with. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Does anybody get to look at this before it goes out? And then the other thing that bugged me is the infantilizing of these young men. Especially from other young, or especially from black guys, older black guys. Those boys were just the boys. The boys are just, they're just boys. They're just learning boys. Let it be us. These are the same people who 3 minutes from now want to come be your leader and your head of household because it's ordained and it comes from their penis. Today they're boys just learning in front of us. What everybody kept calling them boys. Are these young men not in their mid to late 20s or early? It doesn't matter. They're not boys. They aren't boys. And this language is deliberate in trying to get them to evade accountability. And it goes on and on and on. Like, men get to move like this. I mean, Sima says the tiniest thing and it's, whoa, we don't like her. The kind of vile things. And listen, the girl does stuff, right? The girl steps in it. But there isn't this grace for her youth and her having to grow up and learn and navigate the spaces in front of us under a microscope. She doesn't get any of this grace. At every turn, sometimes I feel like that young lady's being bullied. At every turn. But even we are conditioned to give men grace. Now we're calling them boys. We're calling them boys as to make them, oh, they're just so little, they didn't know any better. That's all I have to say on that. I really don't have much on my mind regarding it, but that's it. Y'all already knew how I felt about, like, come on now. Bye, yala.